everyone, thanks so much for tuning in again with me today. I did want to talk a little bit about the wedding planning lull period. I know that this is really common these days, especially with couples having longer engagements, because a lot of couples these days are financing the wedding themselves and they need some extra time during the engagement period to save up for the wedding. And then also, especially if you live in an urban environment, a lot of popular venues do book up pretty quickly, so in order to get the venue that you want, you might have to postpone your wedding by up to a year or so to get that venue. So those are a couple of scenarios that are becoming more and more popular these days with couples, and then because of that they have to prolong their engagement a little bit more. And so with that kind of comes a lull period in the wedding planning process. And I know that that's actually very, very common. A lot of my clients go through it, and I know that Josh and I went through it when we were planning our own wedding as well. We had a 14-month engagement. So the lull period kind of comes after you just gotten engaged and you've booked your major vendors. You have your venue finalized, you have all of your major vendors like photography and videographer and florist and all those big decisions made. And then after that, you're just kind of like, well, what do we do now? And so that's actually very common, and there aren't really too many things that you really can do about it. There really just is a natural gap between wedding planning from when you first get engaged until about 6 months forward to your wedding date. But there are a few things that you can do that I'm going to talk about today to just kind of get through that lull period a little bit and kind of make yourself feel like you are still being productive about planning your wedding. So I'm just going to get right into it. A couple things that you can do are, one, start to collect addresses for your guest list. This is actually kind of a daunting task, and it is actually kind of annoying, to be honest with you. You just want to start collecting all of those addresses, so when you do things like save the dates and send out your invitations, you have a spreadsheet ready to go of all of your guests and their addresses. And you want to make sure that you also have updated addresses for your guests as well, just in case some people have moved in the past few years or so and you don't really have an updated address. So that's one thing that you can do. You'll probably have to work with parents on that one as well, especially if they're inviting some friends that you're not super familiar with. You'll probably have to contact them and have them collect those addresses for you. Another thing that you can do is, if you know that you're going to be sending out save the dates, is purchase your envelopes ahead of time if you kind of have an idea of what you're going to be doing, and start addressing all of those envelopes right away. That way, when it comes to sending out your save the dates, all you have to do is stuff your envelopes and stamp them, and then you're ready to go, and it's not such a daunting task when you finally get your save the date cards in. So those are two kind of things that you can do in addition to that. Also, you can start the best thing that I can really recommend is just start making tons of lists and timelines and month-by-month to-do guides, so you know exactly what you need to be doing and when, especially as it gets closer to your wedding. There are a few little tiny things that you can do in the interim, but I think this is really the one thing that you should be concentrating on during that lull period for your wedding planning process. Little things kind of escape you as well, like buying postage. I know that's something that Josh and I kind of forgot to think about as well, so you really want to just keep thinking about all the little things that you'll have to be doing to make it easier on yourself the month leading up to your wedding. Like I said, things like buying postage, buying envelopes. I know that I had just mentioned that, but again, buying envelopes, just these little things. Thinking about all the paper goods that you're going to need for your wedding. If you're going to be making a lot of signs and DIY projects and menu cards and things like that, you'll want to get a really good timeline for how you're going to go about that. If you are going to hire someone to design those for you, etc., start researching vendors for that. If you are going to hire a calligrapher, you want to start looking into that as well. And then if you are going to be doing out-of-town bags for your guests to have in their hotel rooms ready when they arrive, you want to start compiling a list of things that you want to put in there as well, like bottles of water, snacks. Maybe you'll want to start working on a welcome note to kind of like put in their little bag as a thank you for coming to your wedding. Just all those types of little projects. And then as far as any like craft projects that you're doing, just keep scoping out sales at craft stores when you're out and about. This is probably going to save you a few bucks here and there, just because if you know that you're dead set on doing a couple projects for your wedding, you can go ahead and start purchasing things slowly over time, especially things like ribbon and things that you know that you're going to need a lot of, like tape and glue, stuff like that. It does help to kind of get that stuff done ahead of time. I know that for our wedding, I had previously talked about in one of my videos, I think it was just called Unique Ideas for Your Wedding Reception. My husband and I framed pictures of all of our wedding guests on their own wedding day, so we started collecting those picture frames ahead of time, so that way, you know, about a month before our wedding, we weren't inundated with this huge task of finding all these picture frames and then stuffing the pictures inside, etc. So just make a really detailed list of all those little projects that you'll have to make, and then just start doing them as early as possible. The projects that do require a set timeline, you'll probably want to hold off until closer to your wedding date when you have that finalized with your venue. I would say about 5 to 6 months out, you'll have that information finalized. But before that, you'll probably want to stick to things that don't really have a timestamp on them. Signs for like any candy or cookie buffets you'll be doing, chair signs, all that good stuff. So that's really it. It's just a quick video to let you know that the lull period in your wedding planning process is completely normal. You're not going crazy, but just keep making those to-do lists and timelines, and that will really help you stay focused and make you feel like you're being productive at the same time. So I hope that was helpful for you guys, and I will see you back here soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.